What's going on, guys? It's Henry back with another video, and today we're going to be talking about Palantir stock, and specifically I want to look at Palantir options. I also want to look at Palantir technical analysis. I'm going to be diving into my portfolio right here, right now, to show you my opinion on Palantir, my position, and where I think this stock is heading next, because Palantir is actually a very hot stock for multiple reasons. Not only is the business very strong, the leadership is very interesting, the trend of AI is very good. This company is a full data company that has a lot of progress, growing rapidly, but it also has a very high social velocity, which is something that nobody talks about. You see, a lot of people on YouTube, we talk about Palantir because it gets views. Sad to say, but the reason why it's getting views is because there's a lot of people that understand that this company has a bright future. So there's a lot of people piggybacking off of the idea that this stock is growing, and they're creating more attention actually than I think it deserves. Not because Palantir is not a good company, but there's actually additional social velocity coming from Twitter, from all social media. So I think this is a really interesting stock for many reasons. Fundamentally, technically, the options look good, and there just seems to be a lot of attention on the stock. I've caught this stock years ago, actually. I've been making videos about Palantir for a very long time before everyone really started to push this stock. Now, the reason why people are pushing it is, again, one, I think that this is a very strong stock fundamentally, technically. For me, options, I don't know who's talking about options on Palantir, but for me, options on Palantir are absolutely beautiful. But then socially, so what I want to look at right now is, first of all, I'm going to start out with technical analysis. I'm going to jump into my position as well here. Well, let's just show you my current position on Palantir. I don't have the biggest position, but I'm planning to buy more shares of Palantir. You can see here how I have a 3.5% of my portfolio in Palantir stock right now, with a total return of $1,800. Now, I have a decent sized position, $75,000 in this portfolio. I do have another portfolio. I have some more Palantir, but it's not that much more I have in my other portfolio. You can also see here that on my option position, I have made about $492. What I'm currently doing is I'm selling calls and puts on Palantir. So let's talk about selling options on Palantir and why it's so profitable. When a stock like Palantir that has a lot of implied volatility, okay? Implied volatility is basically how much the market expects a stock to move, right? So if there's high implied volatility, the market is expecting this stock to be very volatile, meaning they think it's gonna go up a lot, it's gonna go down a lot, or maybe it's just gonna go up and down a lot, and then who knows where it's gonna end up. The market just knows that this is a turbulent stock. This stock has a lot of movement, and for that reason, it has more implied volatility. Now, as an option seller myself, and I have over 4,000 students generating consistent income selling options, the best thing that you can do is find a stock that has high implied volatility that is range bound, okay? A lot of people think you can't make money when a stock is going sideways. That is furthest from the truth. I mean, look right now, the 3-month chart on Palantir, this stock has gone absolutely nowhere. But if you're selling options on a weekly basis and it's not going anywhere, that's completely fine. That's why I've been able to make pretty good money. So let's just go over some examples. Let me go over the full thought process I have around selling options, because if you're not selling options for income, you're basically not looking to retire anytime soon. If you learn how to sell options for income, you are basically in control of your finances. And it only takes a certain amount of money for you to save up until you're generating X amount of dollars to retire, right? Whatever that number is for you. I have students that are making $5,000 a month, 7, 8, 9, the list goes on. I mean, I have millionaires as well. I also work with folks that have a small portfolio. It doesn't really matter where you are. You want to be selling options eventually. If you have a small portfolio, yeah, buying options is kind of more attractive. But as you build up a portfolio, I think the best thing that you can possibly do, sell options. I've literally retired, traveled the whole world because I'm selling options. It's the easiest way to make money online. Also has the most freedom. So if I just show you something like sell put right now on Palantir, and I go to, let's just say a week out, okay? I'm gonna pick out a week out option. You can sell right here. You see, it's only $41. It might not seem like a lot, but actually this is a 2% return. 2% of 21 is about 42, right? This is 41. This is literally an almost 2% return thereabouts in just 7 days. So if you can do this every single week, that's about an 8% return on a very safe stock that has a lot of growth. So if you're selling put options, not a whole lot can happen. And here, 2% per week would have worked out literally for the past 3 months. So that's like 4 weeks in a month. That's 12 times in a row. You would have literally won 12 times in a row selling options on Palantir. Pretty crazy. 12 times in a row, because you can see by the chart right now that it's not going anywhere. It's going a little bit up, it's going a little bit down. So a lot of people are kind of frustrated. They're in Palantir because they see a big vision, big future, which I do, by the way. I just don't know when. Okay, I'm not going to sit here and pretend to be like Mr. Fortune Teller. Oh, Palantir is going to go up to this price at this time. No, I don't know. I think Palantir is going to be a $50 stock in the next 2-3 years. I think we can see a double in the price, but I don't know how fast. I don't know which earnings quarter is going to drive this the most. I just look at the valuation. If I look at the statistics, okay, looking at the statistics, this stock has a really good valuation. Yes, the forward PE ratio is high. The current PE ratio is also very high, but we've seen this with NVIDIA, a company that has high profit margins, which Palantir, granted, doesn't have the highest profit margins yet. I think they're going to continue increasing, but everything is just looking really good. Year over year quarterly revenue growth, 20%. CEO, fantastic job. Once Palantir gets into a business, you're not leaving. This is kind of like a software play, very similar to Adobe. Adobe has a very high price to earnings ratio because once people get into the Adobe suite, they're really not leaving. They're most likely long-term contractors. They have a job in the field. It's most likely a company using their software tools. So once a customer comes, they don't leave. Same thing applies for Palantir. And just looking at the chart, I don't need a good chart to make a lot of money. I can make a lot of money by just simply following a pattern. And the pattern could be sideways. Okay, so sideways pattern means that this is a good opportunity for multiple different option selling. In fact, all option selling will work on Palantir. You can literally be a monkey and make money on Palantir. If you're losing money on Palantir, you're not following the right people. What you want to do is, first of all, just sell puts, okay? That's the most simplest strategy that I would use on Palantir. Right now, I am selling the $20 put for July. I would sell $20 puts for July, for August, for September, for October, for November. I would go the first next 1 to 8 months. It's fine. This is a window. I know it's a crazy big window, but listen, I'm telling you, if you sell puts on Palantir, the worst that can happen is if Palantir goes down, you will have to get assigned some shares. You shouldn't mind getting assigned shares if you like the stock, okay? If you like the stock, okay? I'm not going to force the stock on you. I really don't care. I'm not trying to force any opinions here. I don't have an agenda. My only agenda is to educate you, teach you, and of course, if you want to join my community, fantastic. But I'm not desperate for any of this. I'm just teaching you what I believe to be the best strategy and what I'm personally doing. I'm putting my money where my mouth is. I'm not going on this YouTube channel and saying, buy this, buy that. No, I'm actually showing you what I'm doing. I literally have real money in this position in multiple different portfolios. So I would personally sell $20 puts. Not financial advice because I'm not a financial advisor. Next, the thing that I would do is I would just simply buy shares and I would sell covered calls. Listen, a covered call is very similar to selling a put, okay? It almost drives me crazy when my students ask me, should I sell a covered call or should I sell a put? Listen, the thing is, they're actually very similar, okay? There's the same thing. If you sell a put option, you're saying that I want to buy the stock if it goes down. If you do a covered call, you already have the stock and you're just generating money on the stock that you already have. In both scenarios though, okay? Listen, both scenarios, you have about $2,000 into the position. I sold a $20 put. I have about $2,000 that is committed to this position. I sold a $22.50, covered call. I have the shares. So that's also about $2,000. So in both scenarios, I have $2,000 locked up and I'm generating 2% or 1% per week on my money. I literally want to scale my entire portfolio just using Palantir, but that would not be smart risk management. So instead, I'm not going to do that. But I think that having 10%, 15% of your money in Palantir is really good. Unless you have, millions of dollars like me, you probably then want to start diversifying a little bit more. But then again, it just depends on your conviction level. My conviction level on Palantir is very high. I just have a little bit higher conviction on some other stocks, which, I email you guys all the time. If you're not part of my free email newsletter, then it's free. Just, find in the description. So right now what I'm doing is you can see that I have a May 31 covered call on Palantir at 22.5. The thing is, I don't have to do May. I can do June, I can do July, I can do August. All of those different expiration dates would be perfectly fine because, to be honest, I'm just selling options that are out of the money, and selling out of the money options works, especially on high quality companies. So I'm always looking for a high quality company, whether it's Apple or Amazon or Microsoft. I've been making money in all of those stocks. It's really easy. Palantir is even better, because Palantir has higher implied volatility. And again, when a stock has higher implied volatility, there's just simply more premium to be made. So looking at the chart right now, if I zoom out to like 6 months, you can see that Palantir has had a huge bounce. Now, I wasn't a genius, but I did kind of catch this right here. I ended up doing some covered calls and I ended up making really good money. Now, thankfully, I wasn't just selling puts, because if you just sell puts, here's the benefit of puts and covered calls, by the way. When you sell a put, you have a certain amount that you can make, no more. Covered call is the same thing, except if you do a very out of the money call. So for example, right now, back when Palantir was $16, I sold $20 covered calls. So I didn't fully catch the full upswing to 24, but I caught half of it. Okay. Now, for me, this little period right here, I had a slight underperformance because obviously a covered call is not going to perform as well when a stock just shoots up to the moon. So just being honest, I had a week of underperformance. I didn't lose money. I made money, but I just made less money by doing options than I would have just holding the stock. So there can be periods like that. It's not like options are the golden vehicle, and yes, they're very good, but there are periods of time where options can hurt your returns. Most of the time, that's not the case. But again, I'm just being honest. There are some periods of time where you don't want to do a covered call. So I did a covered call here, but the good news is I basically made way, way more money by continuing to sell options from this period onward, like every single week for literally like 12 weeks in a row or 3 months. So look, what would I do right now? Well, given where Palantir is and it has been, I predict that Palantir is pretty much going to continue going sideways until they have the next earnings. Okay, if we look at the next earnings, it's on August 5th. Okay, so until August 5th, I don't really see Palantir doing a whole lot. I think Palantir will move sideways. I also think Palantir may have some good or bad news coming out, and the stock may see some pops, 3 or 5% here and there. This is a fairly volatile stock. It has popped up 5% many, many times throughout the year. But what I think will happen is sideways action. Given sideways action, here's what I would do. I would go to Palantir trade options, and I'll show you an example of 2 different trades. Okay, so first of all, I'm going to go to July 19. Again, you can go for June, you can go for August. It just depends on your level of patience. Not one expiration is better than the other. Both are fine. What you just want to do is go for an out of the money option. So go to sell. All right, I'm going to go to 20. I mean, I already have this position open. So if you want, I still think this position is very, very valid. 31 delta, it's a little higher than usual, but I think about a 30 delta is actually pretty much the sweet spot for me. You know, if you want to be really, really safe, you would go for a 20 delta. If you want to be really aggressive, you can go for something higher. You can go for 43, which would be the 21 strike. Okay, for me, I'm going to pick the 20 strike. I already have this position open. So, I mean, once the market opens up, I'm making this video in the morning, I could increase my position size here. Now, what I would do is I would just click continue, and I would probably open up like, let's say 5 contracts. So I would sell 5 contracts and basically make $354. I would tie up less than 10 grand. Boom. This would be a decent position. It's not going to make you rich overnight, but this is a really good consistent income strategy. What else I would do is I would just do a simple covered call. So to do a proper covered call, you need 100 shares. And I would do some upside. So let's say that you think Palantir is going to go up. You can simply give it some upside. Like you can pick the 24 strike right here, and boom, now you can collect income plus you have upside from $21 to 24. So in this way, a covered call and a sell put is different, because if you go out of the money, then a covered call gives you upside, whereas a selling a put option will not do that. So if you're more bullish, which I am, and I'm both, I have both sell puts and covered calls just to see if it goes sideways. My sell puts really benefit. If it goes up a bit, my covered calls benefit a lot more. So, but both ways, I'm bullish. I'm making money. Sell put is a bullish strategy, and a covered call is also a bullish strategy. So I would sell the 24 covered call, and I would just hold this position until expiration. In terms of managing this position, guys, I would not manage it. You trying to manage a position is you just like trying to micromanage an employee. You're really not going to have better performance micromanaging things. You're going to have better performance by just letting this position go, relax, take a deep breath. If you're bullish on Palantir like I am, set this position and forget it.